I'm really excited about the stuff I'm going to share today. Mainly because, getting prepared for this presentation, a lot of the times when you're on our side, remember that whole thing I was talking about with principles, a lot of the times you're trying to take what you know and make it teachable, and they don't teach that at Lawton MacArthur. So you have to just kind of teach yourself, and over time you get better at something. Maybe it's Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours. But I think because of the topic of this session, which is the new psychology of success, I just want to make sure y'all can see the slides there. This is something that's important to me, and you'll understand why. Because this is the video that I would give to my children, right? Like, if this was on video and something happened to me, this is what, like Jay said, Braden's here, his son. This is just something that, over time, understanding this really is the difference between being able to model success. And this is my belief anyway. And so, modeling people that are successful is very obviously important. It is a principle. We hear it all the time. But I really want to challenge everybody to understand the principles of success today. And we're going to go over the new psychology of success and some of the elements that not only are going to help you, but are just going to help you be able to understand and be able to translate to other people what makes you successful. Everybody here is obviously tremendously successful, or you wouldn't be here. Hopefully you'll be able to, as J. Abraham would say, you will imprison these principles so that you have them forever, and really go back to your marketplace, to your family, and be able to help other people, which I know a lot of people get a lot out of, being able to go back to their marketplace and sit down. I know I surely do. And so I hope that this really helps you understand those things. So we're going to start with a short little video. I've always been fascinated with successful people. It would be I would end up at the lake or somewhere, cornered somebody, asking them a bunch of questions. And this is the one person, if I could corner them, I don't think there's a price I wouldn't pay. So let's start with this video here.
Rock, verify range, go.
Range green.
First stage tank pressing up.
A well thought out critique of whatever you're doing is as valuable as gold.
That third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
8 weeks later, Musk bet the company on another flight.
We have liftoff.
And this time around, everything worked.
Perfect.
If that fourth launch hadn't worked, that would have been it. We would have not had the resources to mount the thing.
Successful entrepreneurs probably come in all sizes, shapes, and flavors. Some of the things I've described already, I think, are very important. I think really an obsessive nature with respect to the quality of the product. Really liking what you do, whatever area that you get into. Given that, even if you're the best, there's always a chance of failure. So I think it's important that you really like whatever you're doing. If you don't like it, life is too short. When my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch. We had just one computer, so the website was up during the day and I was coding at night, 7 days a week, all the time.
You just keep going and get it done.
Put $90 billion, like 50 years worth of breaks into solar and wind, to Solyndra and Fisker and Tesla and Enter1. I mean, I had a friend who said, you don't just pick the winners and losers, you pick the losers.
I'm available 24/7 to help solve issues. Call me 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning, I don't care.
But his bets paid off.
We didn't just repay the principal, we actually repaid it with interest and a bonus payment. So ultimately the U.S. taxpayer actually made a profit of over $20 million on this loan.
Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week. If other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve. A natural human tendency is wishful thinking. So a challenge for entrepreneurs is to say, well, what's the difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that doesn't actually have merit. Your product or service needs to be much better. It can't be a little bit better. All those things improve the odds of success. I think my sort of drive to get it done is somewhat disconnected from hope, enthusiasm, or anything else.
So how many people have heard of Elon Musk before that video? Raise your hand. How many people haven't? Raise your hand. So this is his new book, an amazing book. I would say this is probably top 2 books that I listened to this year. Number 1 book if it's on this topic. I mean, this guy has done so much, and I mean, he started Tesla. I'm not going to go into too much of his detail. If you want any really detail, you can get with Steve Cantor. He's in the back. The reason I say that is he actually mailed me something, I think like 3 years ago when he saw this guy. He like ripped it out of a magazine and put it in an envelope and sent it to me. But Tesla, he started a company, Solar City, and he started a company, SpaceX. That's after he was part of his first company that sold for a ridiculous amount of money. Then he went into PayPal. His most recent endeavor is he wants to colonize Mars. So he thinks that we should have multiple planetary civilizations in order to help humanity. That's his thought. Like, so today, you know, it's really about thinking big, right? This is my family, my wife, my 2 sons, Cash and Crew, got another one on the way who will be here in December. I was actually sitting down with my wife in preparation for this presentation. Woods has been coming to town. I've spent a lot of time with him, spent a lot of time with Karin. We have a lot going on, trying to get prepared. So really what's happened is I'm a morning person, but it's like flipped. I'm like up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning because I have all this energy and all these things that I can't get out of my mind that I'm so excited about. And I've been spending a lot of time talking about, you know, what makes somebody successful. And so I was telling my wife, she said, well, what do you got going on Saturday? You know, I said, I have to get ready for my presentation for EGS. And she said, what are you going through these books? I was going through a tub of basically photos on, you know, digital photos, old computers. This is actually a gas station that's next to my old elementary school. It's called Hoppensack. It used to be called CNC. And that red S10 with a lawnmower in the back and a blower, that's where I started. I moved a lot in Oklahoma when I was 15 in a different truck. I wrecked it. But I mowed grass, and I won't get into the story, but I ended up living with people that lived there, and a lot of people helped me shape, you know, my beliefs. So me and my wife were talking about it. This was a picture I ran across. This is actually, I'm not sure, I remember the day, but it's like within the first month that me and Jay rehooked up. Like, he was in my music appreciation class. I was at the lake and saw his boat. He gave me a ride, and luckily somebody snapped the photo, right? But this was a boat that Jay had. It was a 35-foot fountain, and for me back then, that was something that I totally just didn't even believe was possible. I was blown away. Never seen a boat like that. I mean, I remember, it was probably 6 months before, I was thinking if I could get a Sea-Doo, right? And this guy rolls out in a boat, and his speakers are worth, you know, 2 Sea-Doos. That's really what got me interested in real estate. Just blew my mind. But I found my journal. I started going through it. This was a journal entry my first month in real estate. And since Jay had a 35-foot fountain, I drew a picture of a 40-foot fountain. It would have been 42-foot. And the funny thing is I spelled psychology with an S. It says random because this is the second page, but I am really interested in psychology and spelling lessons, just joking. I always did that just in case someone found my journal. They would know that I knew I couldn't spell. I held an open house this weekend and picked up plenty of buyer leads. I want to become #1 in real estate. I believe it is going to take some extreme discipline, but I can do it. Goal, 40-foot fountain. And I had journal entries in there from 1990.